calculate a spiritual man? And it says he himself calculates everything. But he himself cannot be calculated. So they needed the Spirit of God to calculate and know the plans that God has for you. When he says to you, go to the wilderness, you don't check what is not in the wilderness. You depend on the same power. The same power that took you out from Egypt. You rest in the same power. You depend on the same power as the foundation. Once you lose the power, you have lost the whole formula. You depend on the same power through obedience. You don't calculate how sick you are if you know the power. You don't calculate what you don't have if you know the power. You don't calculate how weak you are if you know the power. You don't calculate your troubles if you know the power. So that I can know him and the power of his resurrection. So if you don't know power, you don't know resurrection. You don't know resurrection. So that I can know him and the power. So many know Jesus, but they don't know the power that raised him from the dead. You only know how he died. Do you know how he was raised? If God puts him in the grave, will you still have faith? That's the wilderness. Number 2. When he goes up, all the answers. Because everyone who had a question will be raised. So the formula was the formula was not complete. So he had to go to the grave and be laid there. When he wakes up, every answer. So you know him and the power of his resurrection. So Exodus 12, God taught them about the lamb, the bread, the blood on the doorpost. Then later, they had to know the power. They had to know the power. Jesus was already crucified. Jesus was already crucified. But they could not depend on the power. They couldn't depend on the power because they lacked obedience. So that I can know him and the power. Not only him and the power. So many know Jesus, but they don't know his power. And this is what caused many people to rest on the wisdom of men. People preach you rest on their wisdom. You rest on their educational qualifications. No, he's a doctor. He's a professor. My pastor is a doctor. He's a professor. Hey, I want to show you the power. See the power. These are spiritual matters. Earthly certificate will not get me through. I don't need jewelry. I don't need silver. I don't need livestock to go through. I need to depend on the weight. I need to depend on the power. I need to depend on his power. So when I rest in the power of his resurrection, everything that comes against me, it finds power. Standing firm on the firm foundation. There's power. There's power. So if God takes you out of Egypt, did you see the power? If God takes you out of your family crisis, did you see the power? Did you see the power? If God took you out of financial crisis, did you see the power? If he took you out amongst nations, do you see the power? If he takes you out of fake believers, fake pastors, and brings you to power, can you see power? Do you see power? Or you still want to depend on the wisdom of men? If God will take you through, he took you through. Why now are you not resting on the same power? Why are you being corrupted? Why do you allow corruption and forsake the power? This God who took you out, now you are depending on your own wisdom, your own mind. You think it was your mind. And when it's like that, it's not easy to worship God. Because you are now depending on your mind. You're forsaking the power. Job knew the mystery. Still, it was another exodus spiritual. He lost his livestock. He lost his children. He lost his wife. He lost everything. He put on a rope. He worshipped. Understanding that the same power will take me through. He didn't come to God with his own fractions, with his own calculations. And say, see, I lost my children. See, I lost my money. See, I lost my livestock. See, I've lost my wife. No. He changed his mind. He went. He worshipped. He put the rope. He allowed his rope to be dipped into the weight, into the blood. So he worshipped. He understands the mystery of the one who's coming with the rope dipped into the blood. problem with many people. You put aside the power of God. That's why today we have many pastors who fight against the power of God. And that's why the devil is dealing with them. Yes. Yep. You put the power of God aside, the devil will deal with the church. The devil will deal with the church. It will be full of fornicators. It will be full of the love of money. It will be full of idols. There will be too much jewelry. There will be too much silver. There will be too much livestock. Because there's no power. There's no power to deal with sin.